Hello and welcome to another episode of West Key Customs, where today we take on the 41 Willys by Hot Wheels. Here you can see the casting. I mean, overall it's quite a nice casting. Not too keen on the wheels. There's quite a lot of detail on it which hasn't really been taken full effect of. You know, they've painted over the handles and the lights and bits and pieces. But overall, you know, size wise, quite a nice casting. So first thing to do was to drill the casting apart. As you can see, quick close-up of it before we take it apart. Looks all okay. Looks like there's a bit of a defect there on the roof. Overall condition is good. Haven't done anything with this one at the moment. It's just how it was. I've already drilled the posts out, as you can see there, just to make things a bit quicker for the video, so you don't have the noise of the drill in the background. But so as usual, need to just pull the casting apart. So once we've drilled the rivet heads off, the base will come off. Have to be a bit careful because these later Hot Wheels have the plastic bases, so you need to be a bit cautious when you're drilling out, not to go too far and actually make the holes on the base too big. Once it's apart, here's the base, very basic. You can see the axles just held in place there with little plastic tabs. So not a great lover of these wheels, so we'll be changing those. Glass, yep, glass is all okay, it's in good condition. As I say, the casting overall is in good condition, so the glass will just have a bit of a clean up. Interior, not too keen on the chrome, so I think what we'll do is we'll remove the chrome. Also got to remove these side bits. I assume it's meant to look like it's got a roll cage inside when you view from the window, but got to be taking those out, so I'll cut the side bits down later on. Probably leave the blower on the hood because quite like that. Not really looking to blank over the hole on the hood. But what I am planning on doing now is, you can see it's got a body line along the side, body moulding, but for the bonnet it doesn't extend all the way to the bonnet. I assume probably in real life this vehicle might have had a fiberglass flip front, which is why it's not on there. So need to pop the wheels off the base. As I say, just the standard Hot Wheels cheapo wheels. Not going to be using those, so they'll just go in the parts bin. May turn up on another project, may not, but we'll keep hold of them because they're in good condition, just not really to the style and don't really add the detail that I want to use on this model. Interior, as I said before, I'm going to remove those side bits. Also got to remove the chrome paint from the interior because I'm not really too keen on chrome seats. I'll give that a coat of paint, something a bit more in keeping. Body wise, so there's quite a lot of detail on there, but obviously need to get it in the stripper now to see what sort of condition it's in underneath all the paint. So here we go. Just done a quick sort of mock-up with the wheels that I'm going to be using, just to see if I need to do any filing on the bodywork to make those wheels fit. But the only thing I need to do is on the base, just remove those kind of semicircle bits on the base, just to give the wheels a bit more clearance so they will actually roll. Because obviously the wheels before gave it a bit of a higher stance. This one's going to be a little bit lowered, so I need to chop those or file those down. Overall body not in bad condition. There's a few casting marks you can see across the wings there, which have come out now that the paint's been removed, so they will need a file down just to make it a bit more smooth, so it's not seen in the after it's been painted. So for these, I'll just take a needle file, give them a bit of a rub down on the main casting line. Obviously careful not to go too heavy-handed on this, because these castings, they are quite soft metal, and if you do put a lot of pressure on the file, you can make some quite nasty sort of scratches. So best thing to do, just take it easy with the needle file, just get the worst of the filing lines, the casting lines down, and then use some emery paper or some wet and dry. As I said before, these I'm going to try and extend the body molded on these just to make it look a bit better. Base tail ends, not too bad, a little bit of a rough edge there that we'll file down. A little bit of rough edges around the window, so we'll give those a bit of a clean up. Not really visible when it had paint on it, but now it's been cleared, you can see the flashing marks there, so I'll give those a bit of a clean up with a file. Just generally go over the body itself, give it a bit of a clean up. Also sort out that there's a little bit of a defect on the roof, bit of a dent or moulding mark on the roof, so we'll give that a bit of a clean up too. Here you can see I wanted to extend the body line to the edge of the bonnet, so I just took some plastic stock, glued it onto the side of the bonnet and bent it round to the front. Obviously way too large at the moment, but what I did is once I had it glued on there, I filed it down to fit so it matched the actual existing body line. Here's a quick dummy run before I got into paint. As you can see, Body lines have come out good, the moulding extended, made a couple of cutouts on the back, added a couple of beefy exhaust pipes to it, also added a couple of door mirrors. Everything else was left the same. Here's the interior. You can see I've stripped off the chrome paint from the main interior, left it on the blower, and also filed down or cut off and filed down those sides. Here we go. Here's the casting all painted up. Went for a sort of metallic red on this one, which I think looks quite nice on these Willys. Painted the chrome line body moulding in silver, and gave it a couple of coats of clear lacquer. Obviously added the details to the lights as well and the grille. Here's the wheels. Just put a couple of axle posts, tubes in on these wheels, just so the actual axles themselves didn't protrude out the bodywork, because they were quite too wide for the main, for the casting itself. Gave the interior coat of sort of a tan leather. Had to sort of file down the sort of axle locators on this, just to give it a bit more thickness to allow for the axle tubes that I've used. Added in a couple of exhaust pipes to the back just to give it a bit more detail, and filed down those sort of wheel bits on the back chassis. Windows, just gave them a bit of a polish up. That's all they needed. Quite glad that the windows are actually sort of clear in this. Some of them you get, they're sort of blue or green. I'm not too keen on the tinted ones, but these just tinted slightly grey, which is good, so quite happy with that. Had to file down a little bit of the excess on the bottom of the screen just to allow the glass to go in and fit around the mirrors that I put on. These mirrors, they're just silver, I think they're actually silver hat pins or that I've cut down. They look really good, look like mirrors on the ends. You just bend them over and glue them in place. Added the interior in place. It's very basic, this one. Here's the base. Don't need to secure the axle tubes in, because the interior and the chassis clamp together to hold the axles in place. So just rest them in place, and then obviously we'll put the body on top. Here we can see body going on top. Oh, axle just needs to be relocated a bit just so it fits in place. Clips all together. Just need to add a couple of screws in just to hold it in place, and then this is all done and dusted. Now I did realise after putting the screws in that I may have actually used slightly too big a drill bit when I was drilling out the post. As you can see, I tend to use the self-tapping screws. I tend to find those quite good, because they do the job. You don't need to tap the holes or anything like that. I say once the casting's together, no intentions of taking it apart on this one. Everything, don't need to get any replacement glass or anything like that, but the actual screws themselves, I did realise that they weren't really holding in, so they needed to be replaced. So I did search the old screw pot and actually managed to find a couple of slightly thicker ones just to replace them once with. But rolls all okay. The wheels turn nice and freely, and yeah, overall quite pleased with how this one turned out. So I'll get it on the rotisserie, out on the old rotating turntable, out in the sun, so you can have a look, see the shiny paint, see the bit more metallic pigment in the paint as well when it's out in the sun. But yeah, overall very happy how this one turned out. It's amazing just how adding a few simple details onto the original casting makes it look a lot more realistic. Just simple things like adding some colour into the lights, which I did with just going over with chrome and then adding a bit of white onto the lens. Rear lights just went over with chrome and added a bit of clear red on top, and as I say, the body moulding, extended it along the bonnet with some plastic stock and just gave it a coat in chrome. Overall looks quite good. Obviously, there's a few little bits you can pick up when you're doing close-ups on it, but on the shelf it looks very good. So overall, very, very happy with how this one turned out. Just a few simple details makes, I think, an overall better casting. Certainly just swapping the wheels over as well. So yeah, very pleased with this one. Come out how I want it, so quite a quick, straightforward one to do. Not a lot of modification needed on this one. So I hope you've enjoyed this one. Stay tuned for the next episode where we'll be doing another die cast and giving it a bit more detail. So overall, happy with this one. Thanks for tuning in. If you like what you see, obviously please hit that subscribe button, and there'll be another video out shortly when I decide which one I'm going to do. Any comments, obviously please feel free to drop them in the comments box below.